Brazil's state-controlled oil company Petrobras has ended its activities in Africa after closing the sale of a 50% stake in Petrobras Oil and Gas BV, which holds some Nigerian oil assets. The company says that with the transaction, it had completely closed its operational activities in Africa. And natural gas pumping from Israel to Egypt will start today. The Egyptian Ministry of Petroleum says the step is an important development that serves both countries' economic interests. This will also enable Israel to transport its natural gas to Europe through Egyptian liquefied natural gas factories. And about a week from now, 21 delegates from across Africa, led by President Muhammadu Buhari, will be attending the UK-Africa Investment Summit in London. The CEO of the Nigerian Investment Promotion Council, Mrs. Yewande Sadiku, says a catalogue of private companies in Nigeria will be launched at the summit to guide investors on their choices. The chief economist at PwC Nigeria, Andrew Nevin, also speaks on the benefits of the summit to UK companies.
You mentioned we need the private sector to come to the party. Let me give you a couple of numbers. So to grow at 6 to 8%, which is what's required to lift 100 million people out of poverty over a decade, requires investment of approximately 40 trillion naira a year, gross capital formation. The federal government stands up and it says we're investing 2 trillion naira, and they expect the country to get excited about it. The federal government spent the total public sector spending on the infrastructure, on the capital investments, about 5% of what's required. So Nigeria will not make progress unless the private sector comes to the party, and that's what this summit is all about. Now, I think we all understand why Nigeria needs the summit. The question is, why does the UK need the summit? So let me tell you something you may not know. If you go outside of Africa, the number of children 0 to 15 has peaked. The number of working age adults from 16 to 49 has peaked. It's not going up, and it's going to start to decrease. Now, that surprises most people. We all understand Ukraine, Russia, South Korea, China, Japan, Italy, Spain, they have a reduction in population, working age population. The people's mental model is it's compensated by India, it's compensated by other parts of Asia, it's compensated by South America. That's actually not true. The total fertility rate in India is 2.4 and dropping fast. So now the question is, when the population's not increasing, how does a business grow? It's hard to grow in markets where the population is not increasing because you need to take it from other places. The only place where the child population, the working age population is growing is sub-Saharan Africa. So if British businesses don't come here, they can expect that they're going to flatline.
The increasingly sophisticated needs of Nigerian consumers in all aspects of Nigerian life are as likely to be served by innovative and ambitious small and medium companies as by large local and global brands. Then there is the scale and demographic structure of Nigeria's population, which is estimated to become the world's third largest by 2050. With a median age just under 19, Nigeria has a large population of tech-savvy, hardworking, optimistic, and mobile youth.
And South Africa will face dire consequences if the country's economy continues to deteriorate. That is a sentiment shared by delegates gathered for the country's second installment of the Business Economic in Durban at the Suddenton Convention Center in Johannesburg. President Cyril Ramaphosa delivered a keynote address on government's commitment to join forces in reviving South Africa's ailing economy. Channels TV South Africa correspondent Katleho Lehodi attended the Business Economic in Durban and filed this report.
The 2020 Business Economic in Durban. This is where government and business interact directly, and the focus is the economy and what all players can do to revive it. In his keynote address, President Cyril Ramaphosa outlined government's key priority areas that will urgently need business to come forward through collaborative efforts to help address the serious economic crisis South Africa finds itself in.
I've been insisting that we do need to reform, embark on serious reforms if we are going to be an investor-friendly country. We need, and in many ways it is also For that reason, that I've opted to have a monthly meeting with business, with labor and community to discuss a number of the reforms that need to be embarked upon.
I can assure our government colleagues that we are more than ready as business to do so, as we have consistently indicated over the past 2 years. But in order to plan, support and mobilize resources, we need definition, we need certainty and clarity, we need hard decisions taken, and we need them now.
Delegates gathered at the Indaba had an opportunity to participate through breakaway panel sessions. They gave input on how they would like to see active practical outcomes from both business and government post the commitments made at the Indaba.
We are ready, willing and able to partner government to get us out of the crisis we are in, okay? But it does need very, very decisive leadership from the President and his cabinet and from the whole of government.
Government is not coming on board in a way that would like it to as business. I don't think that it therefore gives us the right to actually go back to our barracks and say that we're going to stop, because when things go south in this country, when this economy collapses, it collapses for all of us. So we therefore have an obligation, as business to continue doing what is right and to continue extending the hand.
South Africa's unemployment rate currently sits at around 30%, with the World Bank projecting the country's economic growth forecast for the year to below 1%, putting it at 0.9%. But many remain hopeful that it's through engagements like this that will bring about well-needed change for the country's economy. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Katleya Kholokhodi, Channels Television News.
And with that, we draw the curtain on today's edition of the program. Thank you for watching. I'm Chimezi Obi Wago.